Hello and welcome. I wanted to give a quick tutorial on this utility I made. I call it Dot-O-Matic 3000. It is a stippling utility. Basically, you put an image into it, it generates a dot pattern about it, and then exports that to an SVG file or a PNG or a PDF. Originally, I made this because I wanted to create a dot pattern to cut out images on my CNC machine and using VCarve, Vectric VCarve Desktop Pro. So I just ended up going down the rabbit hole and I made this piece of software just for that purpose, and then I kept just adding stuff to it, and then here we are. This is basically it. Decided to throw it up on a website, and now I'm showing it to you to find people. So let me show you how it works. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. There's a bunch of little options. All right, so I'm going to clear this out. So this is how it'll look when you first get to the site. Basically, I'm ignoring this. I shouldn't show the preview anymore, but you end up coming in here, you load an image, like, for example, Mr. Spock. It'll give you an initial result. What's great about this is there's lots of options to adjust to make it look how you want. Sometimes you will want to make the dots larger or smaller. You do have controls over that here. You have the minimum dot size, the maximum dot size, and the quantity. So for example, we could say, and right now it's in inches, and that can be changed too. So we can change the minimum to 0 or 0.1, something really small, and we can change the maximum to really as much as we want, but let's say something larger. If we go smaller, then we can get even more dots in, and we can change this to, let's say, 15,000 dots. And not only that, you can adjust the spacing between the dots if you want it really dense. So down here at the bottom, you have the minimum dot padding for the small dots and the max dot padding for the large dots. So if I say, 0, cut that in half, it will reduce, and then I can add it. So you can just play around with the spacing. Right now, it's set up to keep the dots separate so that they don't overlap. But maybe overlapping is what you want. So there's an option here to prevent the overlap. Just turn that off. Give it a moment and it will rejig it for you. Let's reduce the point count down. All right. Right now it is using the image source colors to color the dots. And that is an option here in the color mode. You can switch that to be a specific color. Like, let's say, I just want black, or I can change the dot color to, well, whatever I want. And now it's red dots. You can also switch the background color to whatever you want. And let's say you wanted to reverse the opposite of this. You could just swap them and it'll reverse. It'll invert that. This was originally meant for CNC cutting use, so I put units in a canvas size here. So you can have inches, millimeters, or pixels. You can specify the width of the canvas. If you want it to look like be a certain size when you import it into Illustrator or Vectric. Let's see, what else can we do here? Let's revert that back to something good looking. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see. Let's just change this to black. Let's change the background to white. All right, and right now this kind of looks the opposite of what I want. So I'm just going to click here and invert the source image. And it might actually make it look more close. Even though the image is inverted, the way the colors are mapping, it will adjust. So let's say I'm going to do prevent overlap because I prefer that myself. I like this look here. Okay, so one thing you can also do is you can select align to grid, which will put it in a pattern, or like in a certain lines of a certain angle. So let's say I do that. I say align the grid. And now, if you can see, everything's at a certain angle. I'm going to increase the dot size here so it will make it a bit more obvious what's going on. So as you can see, right now they're on 45-degree angles. And at the bottom here, you can adjust grid angle in degrees. So I can be like, no, I want 30 degrees or 90 degrees, you know. So that's nice. Very handy, kind of a cool design thing, and what's great is it's all vector. So all these dots are vector. When I export it, I'll get an SVG file or also a PDF or a PNG. The PNG is very useful, but I prefer sticking with vector if I can. You could also, if you select PNG, you can be like make the background transparent. So that's handy if you want to like overlay it in Photoshop or something. I prefer sticking with an SVG. So I'm going to turn off Align the Grid. I'll show you what the output looks like. So I'm going to take this SVG, I'm going to export it. It's downloaded. And now I'm going to open that up. Just bear with me 1 second. Alright, so I opened that SVG file up in Illustrator. And this is how it came in. Now, it exported as a 24-inch by 24-inch canvas from Dot-O-Matic 3000. And if I look at my rulers and I switch it to inches, there you go, 24 inches. Let's look at the outline. Boom, vectors, love that. All right, so that's Illustrator. That's all I'm really going to show you in Illustrator, but that's awesome, right? So let's go back to Dot-O-Matic 3000. All right, so what else? Let's show another example. So that's just good old Mr. Spock. Let's load up an example where something colorful. Let's load something colorful in here. Okay, I'm going to turn off invert because I don't want to invert. Now it's got this, oh, that's kind of nice, but it's too big. The dots are just too damn big. Let's go smaller. And you know what? This is very colorful. Let's go source color. Boom. Nice, right? I like that. You can also adjust if you wanted more or less contrast. There's a slider here. You can adjust how bright you want things to be. Sometimes that's nice when you have like a very black background. You want to like make the black disappear essentially, and you need to lower the contrast or increase the contrast. Well, in this case, the gamma, but it kind of does the same thing. Let's see. So that's kind of nice. And another thing you can do too, if you want to increase the size, you can just change the canvas size, and it will automatically keep the dot size the same relative. So, if you have a smaller canvas, but the dots are the same size, well, the dots will appear larger, right? Obviously. So, and let's see how this looks aligned to grid. Oh, that's interesting. I kind of prefer it the other way, but whatever. Another thing you can do is a gradient. So, let's see, right now it's using a black background right here with white dots. And right now the white dots are both white. So let's say I want it to go white to gray. And hopefully it does it. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so now it's going gray to kind of this pale red. I prefer colorful myself, but you can do that if you wanted to, right? So let's go that. You can also change the shape. You want to go squares? Squares. Boom. What else can we do? If the image has transparency, you can tell it to use that or ignore it. There's an ignore setting here. There's other things here for seed. Seed is basically a noise setting. So if you're getting if you don't like the pattern, you can just increase the number of seed, and it will just try again in a different pattern basically. And there's basically an unlimited number of patterns that you can just keep trying. There's something here called optimize loops. What that does is it optimizes how close things are from touching to each other. Like, so if I say 1, and I'm going to make this larger so it's a little easier to see. So right now it's trying to prevent things from touching. But them things are really close. So like if you increase the optimize, it will kind of work to try to fix it. Not always successfully, but it's trying to. So the more rounds of optimization, the better they're going to be spaced apart. So if you're finding that you're having trouble with that, give that a try. And I'm going to increase the padding a little bit, so that will help too. So that's fun. And let's go back to a little dots, and maybe really little dots. Nice. And then you know, I can give it, you know, a lot of dots. Oh, in this case, they're already kind of pretty packed. So why don't I just reduce the padding to 0? Nice. And they are really, they're packed like sardines right now. So kind of actually really cool. At the bottom here, you'll see kind of how many points are, how many dots are actually being displayed. So, you know, I asked for 25,000. It's giving me 23,000. You know, I mean, it can't fit an unlimited amount. If you prevent overlap, then I'm getting the 25,000. So you just got to play with it. So I'm going to bring this down. Let's try another image. Let's see. Oh, good old Back to the Future. Now this is a really big source image. I haven't tried this one. Let's see. It's gonna chug along with these really big images. Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna reduce the optimization a little bit here. With the really big source images, it will take time. So ideally, try to keep your images, you know, less than a couple thousand pixels in one dimension would be enough. All right, let's see here. I'm using source colors, align to grid. How's that look? Oh, that's pretty cool. All right, let's see how it look with a different background. Interesting. What about with a single color? And we make the dots gray. That's cool. And we make the oh, that's nice. I guess with squares, that's cool. The more you play, you know, you find some really cool settings for things, and you can be really creative with it. That could be a pretty cool background. You know, you could throw that into Illustrator as part of your design. That's sweet. All right, let's do one where we'll go back. We'll do this. This is an old profile photo I used to use. All right, so I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna do basically one color. I'm gonna just change this to black, and let's go a bit bigger. All right. Maybe that's too big. Let's try this, and let's reduce it to 1,000. Let's see if we can make the background. What if we invert it? Let's see what happens. No. All right. Let's just keep that for now. Oh, wait. Let's reduce the size of the small dots. All right. Let's just keep this for now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this into VCarve and show you how that works. I'm going to export this as an SVG. I'm going to launch VCarve as a new project. So here we are in VCarve. I'm going to start a new project. Oh, what size did I have? I had it as a 12 by 12. Let's just do that. You don't have to worry about that too much. You can always scale it in VCarve. But I'll do that here. VCarve 12 inches by 12 inches, assuming it's an inch thick. Assuming you know something about VCarve, but this is for CNC toolpath creation for cutting generally. You could also obviously use it with laser with whatever software you need. So anyways, we've done that. We've started that file. We're going to import bitmap vector. SVG is a vector format, so vector is what we're looking for. Let's check my downloads. Probably a lot of downloads here. All right. import that file. Boom. Here we go. This is the pattern. Alright, so I'm going to just select it all. I'm going to group this because it's a bit too big. Now, it came in the size, so as I outputted it, so I could make that smaller. But I'm going to, let's see, scale this down to be, let's say, 23 inches. Oh, where did it go? Oh, right there. Oh, you know what's happening? I didn't need this file. Oh, let's undo that. Ungroup. Oh, ungroup. I don't need this. So it included a larger outline. I'll see what that's about. That shouldn't have been there. Maybe I'll fix that. Now, I just deleted that. I'm going to group this. Now I can change the size. So it is 12. Let's say I wanted it 10 inches. I can apply that. Now it is 10 inches. All right. So now I'm going to turn this basically into a VCarve engraving. Or V-bit engraving, apologies. So let's see. Gonna select it. I'm going to go over here to my toolpaths and just lock that open so it doesn't pop close anymore. And I will say VCarve. I will select, well, right now I have a 90-degree half-inch V-bit, which is fine. I'll just let that go as deep as it wants to, basically. With a V-bit, the bigger the circle, the deeper it's going to go. It's just basically going to plunge until it hits the diameter of the circle for each of these circles. So, and the angle of the V-bit and the size of the V-bit will make a difference about what you can do. So that's something you will have to kind of figure out. But basically, I'll just do that here. All right. It says there might be some overlaps. That's fine. We'll do it anyways. You might have to add some spacing when you output from Dot-O-Matic 3000, but that should work fine. Now it's calculating. All right, just showing the path of how it's going to go. I'm just going to do reset preview. Let's make my preview nice, and I can change preview. All right, it's already set to maximum. Well, let's just set it to high so it's not too slow. All right, that's it. Boom, and there it is. And you can see how all of these dots are carved. You know, these are really cool. I've seen people do this on TikTok where they've painted a piece of MDF black with like chalkboard paint, and then they've carved it using this tool path, and it makes a really nice piece of art. So I hope this was helpful, and that you will get a chance to use this. If there's issues, please let me know. Having errors, or there's some features you would like to try, or like me to add. Let me know. I'm very open to ideas. So looking forward to hearing what people have to say. It's Dot-O-Matic3000.com. I hope you like it, and I hope you share it with your friends or people who will find this useful. All right, take care.